Ladies will please remove their hats. Um, that's a little comic short, American Biograph. Uh, so you could see there, like, there was matting going on to achieve the effect. So they were basically, you had a scene, they were all watching a movie, quote unquote, which was up in the upper left-hand corner. And then they were, so the movie was up in the upper left-hand corner. The theater that they were watching it, was the rest of the image. And so what they did is they shot the film with one part of it blacked off. Then they shot the other, they rewound the film and then shot it again with the other section. And I don't know which is which that they did, but you could tell that, that both were moving independent of each other. So the mechanisms to move film through a camera wasn't as precise as it became later. So that, those motion effects were problematic. But it's still hilarious. Back when hats were huge. Hey, I'm Skip Alzheimer, and welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime streaming show, where we watch old 16mm films from my collection of over 30,000 films. We've also been watching films from other fellow collectors who we've been digitizing stuff for them. So we've seen a wide variety of really fascinating, fun stuff. So here's a film. The title is clipped, but it's Act Your Age, and it's I believe it's a Cornet film. Here we go. Enjoy.
Yes, Jim, what is it?
Well, Mr. Evans, Miss Black wanted me to bring this to you.
Oh? Won't you sit down, Jim? I understand you have an unusual pencil, Jim.
Yes, sir. That is, it's nothing special.
But you're rather...
I won it in an essay contest.
May I see it? Personally, I think that something like this is better for carving.
I'll fix the desk, Mr. Edmonds. I'll sand it down and refinish it. You won't be able to tell where I scratched it at all.
That's a good idea, Jim.
I'll begin today after school.
That would be fine.
Well, what else do you want me to do, Mr. Edmonds?
Perhaps you can help me with the problem. I'd like your advice, Jim.
My advice?
Yes, I've got quite a serious problem. There are a great many young people in the school, Jim. Each is an individual, but in one important way, they're all alike. They're all growing up.
Is that the problem, Mr. Edmonds?
Yes, growing up is a problem. Because, well, I remember one time I watched some of the boys play ball. You've probably seen it too. The boys were all about your age. In years, they're young men. But sometimes in their behavior,
They act like children?
that's it. The boy batting struck out, and what a fuss he made. He was a young man in years, but the way he behaved was more in keeping with a 5-year-old. When you see a child do the same thing, you think, oh, well, he'll grow up sometime. But at 15 or 16, this boy was still reacting the same way. He was still showing violent temper when little things went wrong for him. So the question is, why doesn't he grow up? Why does he still behave as a child? How can we help him get rid of these leftovers from childish behavior? That sort of behavior we call an infantile reaction.
Infant? Well, whatever it is, it spoils the game for others. Why can't he act his age? I guess scratching a desk spoils it for others, too. Why can't I act my age, eh?
That's what I'd like to know, Jim. Well, you know what to do about the desk. But now this pencil. If you were a first grader, I'd just keep it, wouldn't I?
Oh, but Mr. Edmonds, I'm not a first grader.
Oh, you're not. So suppose you start fixing that desk. Come back for your pencil when you feel you're ready for it.
Yes, sir.
Goodbye, Jim.
Why can't I act my age? That's a good one. Oh, well. Fix up the desk and forget about the whole thing. Pencil gone? Oh, yes. Maybe one of these pencils will do it. Hey, act your age. No use getting sore. That won't open the can. Hello? Oh, Mr. Olson.
Need some help, son?
Why, yes. Do you have a knife or something to open this?
Yes, I guess so. I'm using yours to carve up a desk, I see.
No, a pencil.
A pencil? Bright crop of young fellows in this school. Every day think up a new way to act like babies. Never grow up. Still little boys playing with marbles. Pencils, knives, pulling girls' hair. Well, there's no sense in cleaning up here until you're through. I'll come back later.
Still little boys. Playing with marbles, eh? But maybe it's true. Remember what Bill did yesterday. He was sitting right there. I guess he thought no one was looking when he took Jean's notebook. Was he cheating? Probably. And that's a childish thing to do. That's a child's way out. Then there was Phyllis the other day. She seemed to be worrying about something, and when Miss Black called on her, and she wasn't ready with an answer, why, you'd have thought it was something terrible that had happened. She almost cried. Just like a little girl. Yeah, that's it. An infantile reaction. Why don't we act our age? I'm going to talk to Mr. Edmonds again, after school tomorrow. I've given it a lot of thought, and, well, I'm not the only one, Mr. Edmonds. Everyone seems to act childish sometimes,
but I don't understand just why.
Well, it's partly because of the way we grow up. Your body's growing up now, Jim. You're growing much taller these years, but it may be some years more before your shoulders really broaden out and you become fully grown. Growing up emotionally is much the same. Different parts of our personalities grow at different rates. Some of us never grow up entirely.
So one side of a fellow's personality could be grown up, and another still infantile. Is that right?
Yes. For example, you've seen the girl who always has to win an argument. Most of the time she behaves like a young lady, but let someone disagree with her, well, she might just as well be 5 years old. We see reactions like this with young children. Then there's the fellow who can't take a joke. He laughs as hard as anyone at most jokes, but when the joke's on him, watch out. His 5-year-old brother would react the same way. There's the boy who constantly shows off to gain attention. There's the girl who cries over trifles. Then remember, there's the ball player who becomes violently angry when he loses out. Those are some of the many infantile reactions we see around us every day. They indicate that a part of one's personality isn't growing up with the rest. Now, what we need is some method of measuring our growth, comparing various parts' personalities.
Say, I have an idea, Mr. Edmonds. I think I can figure out my age. Anyway, I'd like to try.
Just a minute. Don't you want your pencil?
No, sir. I'll wait until I know how old I am.
Let's see. How old am I? When someone disagrees with me? When someone pokes fun at me? When I want attention? When I am confused? When I don't get what I want? There. I guess those are pretty important times to watch out for infantile reactions. Now to rate my age today, and then see how well I can grow.
Oh, hello, Mr. Olson.
You again? Carved up another desk already?
No, I'm just trying to figure out how old I am.
Ask your mother.
No, I mean how old I am and the way I behave.
Oh, don't rate yourself too high. I won't bother you, will I?
No, this is too important. I thought of it 2 days ago, so I made several copies of this and had my parents rate my age in each of these points, and my best friend. My rating wasn't exactly high in some places.
But it looks like a good rating system. What do you do now?
Well, I'll have to work hard to bring my rating up. Here, for instance, where it says, how old am I when I don't get what I want? I rated myself 10 years old, and my dad put it even lower than that. So I'm going to get in the habit of controlling my temper, and maybe next month I'll have a better rating. And by next year, I want to catch up with my real age.
That's something to look forward to.
I'll see. Well, I'm not going to tell you all my ratings, but I thought you might want a copy of this.
I certainly would. I think everyone here should rate himself and have his friends rate him this way, to make sure he grows up evenly.
And gets rid of those infantile reactions. I think I'd like my pencil back now.
It's there on the desk.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, Mr. Edmonds. Goodbye.
How old are you? Wouldn't you like to try rating yourself on a sheet like this?
As someone pointed out in the comments, the way the answer for Coronet is always coming up with lists. It's pretty funny. And also very well handwritten lists at that. Yes, I created this list and I'm going to have my parents rate me. Yeah. That doesn't... It's a magical world that the folks at Coronet live in sometimes regarding the behavior of adolescents and what you can do to put their behavior in check. It's pretty funny. All right, let's get all hippy-dippy with all kinds of people. It's got some songs in here. You're welcome to sing along.
A wave breaks upon a beach and then recedes. The tide covers the land and then falls back into the sea. Land and sea, light and darkness, plant and animal, all obey the laws of nature. Man alone, setting himself above nature's law, has had to create his own law for ordering human events. But while nature's law is universal, man's is not.
A starfish left in a tide pool is an unimportant event, but it represents millions of years of obedience to natural law. The starfish obeys and survives.
The starfish may look unimportant, lying limply on his underwater shell. He may look unimportant to you, but he's very interesting to himself. It takes all kinds of people to make up a world, all kinds of people and things. They crawl on the earth, they swim in the sea, and they fly through the sky on wings. All kinds of people and things. And brother, I'll tell you my hunch. Whether you like them or whether you don't, you're stuck with the whole darn bunch.
It takes all kinds of people to make up a world full of people alive. They dig in the earth, they fish in the sea, they sit at a desk to survive.
All kinds of people and things. And brother, I'll tell you my hunch. Whether you like them or whether you don't, you're stuck with the whole darn bunch.
A fella is a farmer in Egypt, and Egypt is a very arid land. A fella's got to work like the devil himself to coax a little greenery from the sand.
In Japan, a man must go fishing if a man's family is to eat. Fishing's no sport for the Oriental. It's the closest thing he ever gets to meat.
A secretary in America doesn't seem to be working very hard. She takes her dictation, types it with ease, and is paid by an electronic card.
Takes all kinds of people to make up a world full of people alive. And whether you like it or whether you don't, we're here and we've got to survive.
The world is full of people.
All kinds of people.
Doing all sorts of things to survive.
Some very few people make their living in a complex industrial society. They are rich by the world's standards, eat well, and have many things.
But most people make their living directly from the earth itself. They have only primitive tools with which to work. They're poor and hungry and they have very little.
Some very few people have had the good fortune to acquire an education. They can put their minds to work for them. They have leisure time and money. Money to enjoy themselves as they will.
But for most people, it's a struggle just to learn to read and write their own language. And most people must struggle very hard to survive by the sweat of their own physical labor. They work a long day and have little time for leisure.
Some very few people live in nations that spend much of their money preparing for war. Building jet airplanes. Missile-firing submarines. Giant intercontinental ballistic missiles carrying nuclear warheads. The weapons systems that people need to wage wars of mass destruction.
But most people live in nations that spend much of their money building irrigation systems, schools, hospitals, factories. New highway systems. Sanitation systems. And dams and power plants, constructive things that people need to make life better for themselves.
The world is full of people, all kinds of people, doing all sorts of things to survive. But if the very few people who live in the very rich countries and who have most of the money and the education and the weapons ever use their weapons,
then the world will not be full of people anymore. And all the learning, and all the building that's been done by people everywhere throughout all time will have been done in vain.
For people cannot survive the fire of atomic weapons, nor the blast, nor the heat, nor the radioactive fallout. People cannot survive war anymore.
Today the world is full of people, all kinds of people, doing all sorts of things to survive.
Acquiring all sorts of knowledge.
Worshipping God in all sorts of ways.
Creating all sorts of art and culture.
And adhering to all sorts of laws made and enforced by all sorts of governments everywhere, throughout the world.
For the rich people,
and the poor people, the office workers, and the farmers, the educated, and the ignorant,
The few,
and the many.
All people, everywhere, must respect the laws of their land. It's law made by man and enforced by man that enables all kinds of people to live at peace with each other within sovereign nations. But man's law is not yet universal. The rule of law stops at our national boundaries. There is no world law to keep peace between nations. The United Nations was established to keep peace. But how can it, when it doesn't have the power to make and enforce law between its sovereign members? How can it, when its operations can be brought to a standstill by one nation's veto? How can it when people, all kinds of people, just don't care?
it's up to you and to me and to everybody everywhere. The choice is clear. One world under law or the constant threat of war and no world at all. For only truly effective and enforceable world law can keep the peace among nations and make the world safe for its people. And today the world is full of people, all kinds of people.
All kind of people to make up a world. And brother, I'll tell you my hunch. Whether you like them or whether you don't, you're stuck with the whole darn bunch.
And I'll tell you something else. Unless we can make the world safe for people, it's not likely to be safe for the starfish either.
Wow, that turned interesting very quickly. Anti-nuke very quickly. What's interesting is, so I looked up the title in WorldCat, which is a kind of a catalog of libraries across the world, and all kinds of people came up as a AT&T film made in 1972, describes the kinds of people who are telephone company employees and the variety of their skills, presents a realistic picture of business operations of the telephone industry. Well, that's not what this film was. It's fascinating. And, you know, so all the time we're discovering films that aren't listed in big catalogs of books and audiovisual materials. So this is why we show them. Fascinating. And I guess, I mean, precedent films, I don't, precedent pictures, I'm not familiar with them. So there were all these little, literally mom and pop operations across the world that were making films. And this was something that they felt compelled to make and show. And I might dig a little bit to see if I can find out more about it while I show the next film, which is actually set up on our telecine. You can't see my hand. A film transfer machine. And this one I have not seen before. The last one was transferred by an intern, but I had not seen it. So that's what, you know, a lot of times we're watching films brand new. And so I'm happy you guys are here for the premiere. Before we start with this film, buy me a coffee, please. One way you can do that is going to this link and just buying me a coffee. That caffeine is a great way to show your love for AV Geeks and what we do, or your displeasure for what we do. You can also hit like and subscribe. That's a big thing on YouTube, I think. So just hitting the little like button, the notification button, all those things help. And also go to avgeeks.com. I'm pointing all these with my fingers. These links. You can see other stuff that we've done in the past. So, all right, here's the film. It is now 1 foot, now the other, and it was made in the mid 80s. So this is kind of late in the for 16. All right, here we go.
I was named after my grandfather, Bob. Mom and Dad tell me that the first word I said was Bob. I don't remember any of that, but I know Granddad was always there.
He wants to walk.
You mean you wanted to walk?
Well, everybody needs a little encouragement.
I don't think he's quite ready yet.
A child like this, of course he's ready. That's right. First 1 foot, then the other. Now 1 foot.
Oh, Dad.
Now the other. That's right. You can walk. Look, isn't that good? Now 1 foot. Now the other. See? How do you think you learned how to walk?
Let's go inside.
Bobby, you're going to run out of energy. Hey, how long have you been able to do that?
A long time.
Well, good for you.
Honey, is it okay that Dad stay with us? Tell me.
Of course. Since your mom's gone, yeah, of course it's fine. Besides, it'll be good for Bobby, too. Look at him. He loves having an audience. Bob will spoil him completely.
What the grandfather's for. Thanks.
No playing ball today.
Let's play blocks.
Okay. Oh, got blocks all over there.
Let's build a tower.
All right, what kind? Short or tall?
Tall.
You start it. I'll try to help you.
I like the pictures on these.
No, these were your mother's. She played with them when she was a little girl. There's one. It's gonna go. One more.
And now the elephant block. Granddad, you sneezed everything over.
Must be that elephant block. Elephants always make me sneeze. Oh no!
the elephant block.
Don't make me laugh, Granddad, or I'll knock it over.
Elephants always make me sneeze. Shoo!
Elephants always make you sneeze, Bob.
Well, you'll just have to try the next time. And ever since that day, O best beloved, all the elephants you will ever see, besides all those that you won't, have trunks precisely like the trunk of the elephant's child. You like that story?
I like that story. Tell me another one.
What about?
About how you taught me to walk.
Well, it was no trouble at all. You really wanted to walk. I just held your hands for steadiness, and I said, now one foot, now the other, and before I knew it, you were actually walking.
Did you know me when I was just born?
From the beginning. It seems like I knew you even before you were born.
Did you know Mommy when she was a little kid?
Sure I did. She was my little kid. You better run up to bed now.
Good night.
Good night.
When I was 8, it was Granddad's idea for us to go have fun after my birthday party. It was great. Thanks for the birthday present, Granddad. Here's what I really wanted to do.
Does it feel different to be 8?
Nope. Can we go on the Double Dipper again?
Oh, you can. I'll watch.
And on the way home, we told stories. He told me about when Mom was just a kid.
Shell. Just put them on 8 liters now, too. Give them 8 liters. Oh, 2. Grandpa's sick. He's had an attack. It's some kind of seizure or something. It's okay. We're doing everything we can do right now. Gonna go to the hospital in a minute. Not ready to transfer. Keep the cup. You got the room, please?
Granddad has had a stroke. Mrs. Zeitlin from down the block is going to stay with you while we go to the emergency room.
I want to come too.
You can't.
I want to.
Bobby, we need you to stay here and be safe at home, okay? And we're going to call you. It's going to be all right.
Call me 11, sir.
Hold on. We'll be back soon. Mrs. Zeitlin will stay with you.
I want to come too.
You can't. Now help us by staying. Morning. I hope you got some sleep.
Granddad's gonna have to stay at the hospital a while. We don't know how long. All we can do is wait and hope he gets better.
It was a stroke.
I want to go see him.
You can come with us. But I'm afraid you can't come up to the room.
Why?
They just don't allow kids up into hospital rooms, honey.
Besides, Granddad's really not well. He can't move his arms and legs, Bobby. We don't know if he'll even recognize us, if he knows us. You don't want to see him like this. Stay in the waiting area. We'll be back as soon as we can.
Okay.
We'll let him know you came too.
Bye, Dad. Bye, Mom.
It'll be okay.
How is he?
He can't talk. We don't really know.
He doesn't know us. We don't know how long it'll take before he gets better.
But he'll get better.
Come on, let's go. Is something wrong?
Just not hungry. You know when Bob's gonna be home yet?
No. Not for sure.
Months and months went by. Bob was still in the hospital. He just had to get better. Hi, Dad. What's up?
I wanted to tell you, Granddad's coming home.
Is he better now?
No. He's still very sick. You're going to have to understand how it is. He can't move or talk. And when he sees your mother and me, he still doesn't know who we are. The doctors don't know if he's going to get any better.
But how's he gonna get around and move like from place to place?
If it has to be that way, I'll carry him. So don't be scared. And try not to be upset if he doesn't remember who you are. All right?
Yeah, I understand.
All right.
Honey, I'm going to take this out to Granddad, okay?
Granddad. Granddad. He didn't remember me. And he didn't talk or even move. Even when Dad helped him move, he still didn't know me.
Oh.
Bob sounded terrible. He yelled. He sounded like a monster.
You can't help it, Bobby. It's a stroke. You have to expect that.
I didn't mean to run away, Bob. I was scared. Do you know who I am? Mom, Bob knows who I am.
Oh, Bobby, you're just going to upset yourself. Your grandfather doesn't recognize any of us.
And now, the elephant flock. Elephants always make you move, Bob. Bob will get better now. I knew it. I still help feed Granddad. But one day, he could hold a spoon all by himself. beautiful wedding. The wedding guests begin to arrive. The dromedary returns with the bridal costumes just in the nick of time for the ceremony. After the wedding and the coronation, everybody dances merrily. Every day he could speak a little better, but he still couldn't walk.
You, me, walk. Me, walk.
Okay. First one foot, now the other. 1 foot, now the other. 1 foot, now the other. That's good. 1 foot, now the other. Foot, now the other.
Dad, what are you doing?
Walk.
By the end of summer, Bob could walk to the end of the lawn, and he could talk better and better each day. Did you hear that bird?
Yeah,
There's a whole bunch up there.
yeah.
Maybe there's a nest.
Well, the nests are a little earlier. Summertime now.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bob. Happy birthday to you.
And many more. Make a wish, make a wish.
I need some help.
You guys got them all. What a good job.
Happy
How
birthday,
many-
Granddad.
Happy birthday. How many did you blow out? Did you count?
About
Oh,
three
yeah,
thousand.
I think
we're gonna
it's
cut
about
this
3,000.
cake now.
I get the first piece.
No, Grandpa gets the first.
Okay, can I get one with the flower? Tell me some stories.
All right. But first, you tell story how you teach Bob to walk.
Well, you just put your hands on my shoulders, and I said, first 1 foot, now the other. And before I knew it, you were walking just fine.
Oof. Sorry. I'm not making light of the feelings. And certainly, I saw in the comments, and I experienced this firsthand, is having a grandparent had a stroke, and then you as a child doing the things that the grandparent did for you. It's a common thing, I feel like. And so here I'm looking at the notes that are in the can. And this, where did this come from? This must have come from New York, upstate New York. I had a former teacher who rescued a bunch of films and kept them in his garage for like 10 years before his wife got on him to get rid of them. And then he reached out to me and drove down all the films. I should say thank you, Jim, for the coffee. Before I ask you some questions, everybody some questions. After the viewing, how did Bobby and his grandfather help each other? What is special about living in a larger family that has grandparents, aunts, and uncles? Are there some disadvantages? How do you think Bobby felt while his grandfather was in the hospital? Have you ever been worried about someone who was in it? Oh, who was ill? What do you think Bobby's mother was feeling about her father's illness? How do different people deal with their feelings? I should say that this is definitely an 80s film because the parents are clueless. You've got the kids who are clued into it. The parents are absolutely clueless. And then you have the older generation that the kids are clued into. Yeah, it's an 80s thing, like where parents are stupid and adults are stupid. The author of the book wrote the story because his own grandfather had a stroke when he was younger. Can you remember anything that happened to you that you would like to write about as a story? So, fascinating. Fascinating stuff. Yeah, and I apologize. Sometimes things go dark. Start off with a hippie song about starfish and end up talking about nuclear devastation. Start off with a wonderful film about kids and their grandparents, and it ends with someone with a stroke. Although this had a happy kind of thing at the end. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in today. Stuart, I'm sorry we didn't have time. You didn't show up. So maybe tomorrow, if you show up, I will show the film that you requested. I can't always do requests because I can't always find the films, but yes. Anyways, everybody have a good rest of your day. If you like what you saw, you can contribute. I'm pointing, and I'm not really seeing where I'm pointing. You can contribute to AV Geeks by buying us coffee, by hitting like or subscribe or notifications, all those things. Or you can go to AV Geeks and see what's going on. And the other thing you can do is just show up and share. See your face every day. It's great. I mean, your face. You see my face every day. I don't see your face. But everybody have a good rest of your Tuesday, and we will see you tomorrow. Please rewind and love each other, and included in that is loving yourself, because sometimes you got to give yourself a break. Don't be so hard on yourself. And also, stop falling on ice, everybody. It's not good, so take care of yourselves, please. We will see you tomorrow. Take care.